Hey guys, welcome back to video 3 here. The topic of this video is going to be how do I know who's new and how do I talk to a first-time guest? Now, this is the biggest struggle we all have, the biggest struggle I have. How do I know who is a new person? Because we've been challenging you, pushing you to get to talk to these new people and we just don't know how. How do we even start the conversation? What if they've been here forever? And so we have two services as well. So right, it's very obvious that you're not going to know everybody. So maybe you go to the first service, most times, and you go to second service, and you're like, these are all brand new people to me. So how do you know who's actually new? Because the fear that we have is that, oh my gosh, what if they say to me, well, I've been here for 5 years, and then we just feel awkward, right? That's our biggest fear. Is like, they're not new. I'm talking to them like they're new. I feel just like a big dummy, right? We're also just bad at remembering people, bad at remembering names. And at the very best, it's going to be awkward. And at the worst, this conversation you have with someone who you assume is new but is not new, it's going to make them so mad that maybe they'll somehow leave the church, right? That's what our fear is. So the question then is how do you know who's new? Well, there's a few things that maybe can help, but number one, there's no perfect way, right? There's no perfect way to know who's new, who's not new. That's ultimately not the point, but we're going to get to that here in a second, but I do want to give you a kind of a couple things that might help, right? If someone comes in really, really early or really late, that's a good chance that they might be new, because if you're going to a new place for the first time in your church, you're probably going to show up early just to make sure you have your bearings, you know what's going on, or you might show up really late. So that could help you. Number two, if they walk in and they're very overdressed. So we here at Good News, we're not like a suit and tie type, place. And so if someone comes in with a tie, they might be new because they assume that maybe we need a tie to come here or something like that. Or next one is if they're kind of coming around and looking around like they don't know what's going on, right? If you go to New York City and you look up at the buildings, right? People will know you're new because people who are there all the time, they don't look up at the buildings because it's normal to them. So if someone comes in and they're kind of looking around like they don't know where to go, maybe they don't know where the bathroom is, they don't know where they should be, they don't know where the coffee is, they don't know where their kids should go, that can give you an indicator as well as if they're new. So those are just a couple of things that might help you know if someone's new or not. But ultimately, it's not the point. The point is not how do I know if they're brand new or not. The point is it doesn't matter how long they've been around, and it doesn't matter whether or not you've already met them. That is not the point of the issue here. And if we can get past that, that is going to help ourselves, right? Our goal is to help outsiders become insiders. So it doesn't matter if they've been here for 10 years. It doesn't matter if it's their very first Sunday. If you don't know them, you should feel empowered to go meet them, to go talk to them, to reach out to them, to get to know them, because you don't know them, right? And so I promise they're not gonna be offended if you've already met them. They won't be like, how dare you? We met, 2 years ago, right? They're not going to be offended by that. And I do have a simple phrase that's going to help you out in this venture. But first, I have a principle that's going to help you out here as well. This principle is absorb the awkwardness. We're all human beings, right? And meeting people for the first time, no matter where it is, no matter how it is, it's always awkward, right? Talking with new people, approaching people, it's awkward. I know it is. It's awkward for me. It's awkward for you. And it's awkward for the people you're talking to. It's just how it goes. So if you can be the person that just owns the fact that it's awkward, you can absorb that awkwardness. And then it's not awkward for them. It might be awkward for you, but that's part of why you're serving is to be that intentional person to reach out. And so you can ask for the guidance of the Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Spirit can empower you and equip you to be this person that can reach out to these new people. And also, the more you do this, the more you take a step out of your comfort zone, the easier it becomes. You get used to it, right? I used to be a person that I refused to talk to new people, no matter where I was. I just was kind of in my own habitat, in my own shell. But yet, the more I do it, the better it is. So here's the phrase that will help you. It's been a long time coming. Here's the phrase that's going to help you. I'm not sure we've met before. Really? That's it? Yes, it is. I'm not sure we've met before. Why does this work? because we're all horrible at remembering people, right? I've never met one person that says I'm so good at remembering names. It just doesn't happen, right? We often say I can't remember names, but I can remember faces. Well, the reality is I don't think we're very good at remembering people in general. So maybe you have met before, but we're just not very good at remembering. So for you, if you have a doubt, if you met this person, go up to meet them, or even if you don't remember their name, that's okay. You can still meet them. So when you say, I'm not sure we've met before, the blame for not remembering gets placed on you and your bad memory, right? And we all know we have bad memories. So it also breaks a barrier. So here's the odds are, if you say, hey, I'm not sure we've met before, the odds are they're going to say, no, we haven't met before. And often right away, they'll say, it's my first time here, right? They'll say it right away. Most guests will say it immediately. Your worst nightmare is that the person's going to say, oh, yeah, we met before. I've been here for 10 years. How dare you not know me? That's your worst nightmare. It's not going to happen, right? Number one, it's not going to happen. And number two, it's a perfect time for you to say, oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. My memory is just so bad. I'm so sorry I forgot you, right? And then they'll say, oh, I'm sorry too. They'll say, my memory's bad too. I'm bad at remembering names, right? So when you use this phrase, you shoulder that responsibility of having a bad memory, and you break a barrier, because we all can relate on not being very good at remembering names. So let me run through a conversation with you. I'm not sure we met before. My name is Tyler. They might say, oh, yeah, we haven't met before. My name is Steve. Oh, nice to meet you, Steve. How long have you been coming to Good News? Because if they don't say right away, that they're new here, they've been coming for a while, then you have the opportunity, how long have you been coming to Good News? Because if it is their first Sunday, they'll say, oh, it's my first Sunday. But if they have been coming for a couple of years, they'll say, oh, I've been coming for a couple of years. And if they say, oh, I've been coming for a few years, you can then say, oh, that is so great. How have you enjoyed your experience? You could ask questions like, have you gotten a chance to go to a welcome party? Have you gone through Rudy yet? Are you in a small group? That's a great way for you to break that barrier, and then you can start to have a conversation. So you can see that this phrase really opens doors, allows you to get to know somebody in a non-threatening way, and allows you to begin to ask more questions about who this person is to get to know them better. You can also ask them about where they're from, where they work, any family, their interests. You can talk about sports, the weather. You all know how to have a conversation with people. But if you ask that question, I'm not sure we've met before, and it's not even a question, but if you say, I'm not sure we've met before, my name is blank, it opens the doors to a whole new thing. So if they are brand new, invite them to go to the Connection Hub with you. Introduce them to a staff member, introduce them to a friend, invite them to sit with you. Just be a good person, just be a friend. Again, outsiders to insiders. Now, I do want to make a note here. Some people absolutely do not want this attention. Their goal is to come in, to come out, not to talk to anybody. So if you do have a conversation with somebody and you can just tell they don't want to talk, you can tell they're trying to escape the conversation, that's okay. You don't have to drag stuff out of them, right? That's not the point. But I think sometimes we assume that people don't want to be talked to, so we just don't talk to them. But reality is if they're in our building, they probably want to be talked to. They probably want to be connected with. They want to be remembered. They're seeking something, right? So if you get into a conversation with somebody and they don't want to be talked to, you say, hey, have a great day. Thanks for chatting with me. But don't just assume people don't want to be talked to, right? Again, be intentional, outsiders to insiders, make personal connections with people, remember names. It's all important. It's all part of what we do. So this is it for video number 3. Let's continue on with this journey, but hopefully this one was very helpful and that gave you some practical things that you can do.